much better being in your 30s, because I know myself in my 30s. You think you know yourself in your 20s. You don't. You don't know who you are, okay? I thought I knew myself too. Didn't have a fucking clue who I was, especially early 20s, 20-year-olds. You don't know who you are, 20-year-olds. I see you on Love Island, 20-year-olds. You don't know who you are. Every man in his intro video on Love Island says the same thing. He goes, how would my mates describe me? Probably say that I'm a little bit cheeky, a little bit flirty. Yeah, I reckon they'd say that. I reckon they fucking wouldn't, mate. Have you ever heard an adult man describe another adult man as cheeky or flirty? Forget flirty, that's out the realms of possibility. Not once have I described a male friend of mine as cheeky, because none of my male friends are a cartoon monkey who has just robbed a fruit market in a fucking Disney film. If you ask any adult man to describe his best male friend, he'll go, he's about my height and he's a bell end. And that is it. Is all the insight you get.
So I'm not used to being flirted with, right? And Aussie women, they're very direct with their flirting. I couldn't handle it, right? And I love my girlfriend. I wasn't going to do anything stupid. So I came up with a wee plan, right? Anytime an Aussie woman started flirting with me, I would just nip it right in the bud by pretending to be South African. Now, I like South African people, man, they're good people, but you've got to admit, that's an unshaggable accent. It's too percussive and angry, it's scary, you know? Like, you imagine she asked me for directions, like, excuse me, do you know the way to Darling Harbour? I'm just like, yeah, no problem, I can take you there myself, Why are you running away? I'm trying to help you. Come on, take me back to your place. Maybe I could shoot you through the bathroom door. I'll just let that one digest.
I remember Strictly Come Dancing and the Great British Bake Off. They became programmes where the media got in on the old diversity bandwagon. You remember on the Great British Bake Off they had a Muslim lady baking a Victoria sponge cake, didn't they? They had the black lesbian boxer doing the Viennese waltz, remember? And I thought, that's not diversity. Getting black people to do white people's things, that's colonialism. To me, diversity would be to get white people to do black people's things. So instead of a programme like Who Do You Think You Are, you could have Where You From? No, Where You Really From? Where we could get a white person to stand there and justify their existence in this country by going through their entire fucking family tree. Immigrants in the Attic, that was one of my programme ideas. Stop and Search, where we see people like Nigel Farage being tasered outside Brixton Tube Station.
My mom, how do we say this? Verbose is not a long enough word to describe how my mother abuses the privilege of conversation. Is that too mean? Let's put it this way. The woman tells a story the same way a Rube Goldberg machine cracks an egg into a frying pan. Does that make more sense? Oh, you're gonna get that omelet, but you're gonna take a lot of unnecessary twists and turns to get there.
I'm at that age now where I've started using phrases like, I'm at that age now. And I'm also at that age now where I haven't yet, and I don't believe I ever will, resort to vaping in any shape or form. I'm never gonna vape. I'm not gonna become a fucking vapor. It just feels like a betrayal to all of those sweet, sweet cigarettes that I smoked throughout my life. Like, if you used to smoke cigarettes and now you vape, you're a real piece of shit. You used to be cool, man. Now you're standing there just on some street corner filleting a mini exhaust pipe like Fonzie's shit sibling. You used to be fucking cool. I remember the glory days of smoking. This whole room will have been full of cigarette smoke. We all would have stunk like shit, but we didn't care because we were fucking cool. There would have been ashtrays everywhere. You couldn't move for ashtrays. Now you can't fucking find one anywhere. Spare a thought for the ashtray manufacturers. They're all living in their cars now thanks to you fucking vapors. And it's not just the ashtray people. What about the people that make matches? spare a thought for the companies that used to print nightclub logos onto those little books of matches so that grizzled old homicide detectives could fish one out of the pocket of a corpse and know where to start looking for the killer. Thousands upon thousands of unsolved homicides just because you fuckers want to vape.
Now, I do need something in return from you. This is my book of resolutions, okay? I take it to my shows. That's now yours for the rest of the show. You don't have to do it straight away. The idea, Alex, is you'll listen to the whole show, listen to basically all the problems that I bang on about, and you'll figure out the perfect solution for my life, to fix all the problems in my life, and you'll write me a resolution that we'll look at the end of the show. If at any point during the show you forget this task, it is written on the very next page, but I trust you, Alex, okay? You're a city boy, and I know that you're going to give me the perfect solution to all my issues. I know you are. And bear in mind, right, I've already tried this, okay? I believe in this idea of giving each other resolutions, and I tried it with my mates. But my mates are all fucking idiots, okay? Because my friends are all young men in their early 30s. How old are you? Alex, how old are you? Fuck. My friends are all young men in their late 30s who have all become absolutely obsessed all of a sudden with getting the CEO lifestyle, okay? All of them, they suddenly want that high earner, high achiever lifestyle. They've all listened to one shit podcast from that dickhead on Dragon's Den, and they've all gone absolutely insane. And now they say things to me like, oh, what you got to do, mate? You know what you got to do, Rhys? You got to start your day, every day, with an ice-cold shower. That's what you got to do, man. Ice cold shower in the morning, every morning before work. It's going to change your life. I'm like, I don't dispute that. They're like, for the better. Right, that's where me and you part ways, okay? But this is a real thing, okay? It all comes from a man called Wim Hof. You may have heard of this guy. That's a man's name, genuinely. Wim and then Hof. I'm not fucking around here. And if you're not aware, right, Wim Hof, he's this old, looking around at some of you, he's this young guy, and he's in his prime, I'd say. He's a sprightly young 62. And that's when life begins, if you ask me. Thanks for coming. He's a young guy, and he's got this big white beard, as so many young guys do. And he is Dutch or Danish, same thing, doesn't matter. No, xenophobia is fine. Racism's the bad one, trust me. Basically, he's an old white guy, and he's from one of the waffle countries. Brexit means Brexit. I'll say what I fucking like, all right? You voted for this, not me. I abstained. Anyway, he says... Some of these are jokes, chill out. That wasn't one, but there'll be some in a bit. The point is, Wim Hof, right, he says that it's all about cold therapy, right? It's called the Wim Hof method. It's all cold therapy. And apparently this sorts you out mentally and physically, right? My friends all interpret this Wim Hof method as just having a cold shower in the morning, every morning before work. And they keep saying, you got to do it, Rhys. You got to do the Wim Hof method because it's got scientifically proven benefits. That's what they say, scientifically proven benefits. Now listen, I like science, and I like proven benefits. Lord knows, I love an Actimel. But, oh, it's a Yakult crowd, is it? Good to know. It's always 50-50. But listen, if I'm going to follow the science from someone, okay, I need a sciencey look. If I'm going to follow the science from someone, it's not going to be from a man called Wim, who lives in the fucking woods, okay? I need to see some pictures of you holding some beakers or something. Pop a fucking lab coat on for a press shot, mate. All I ever see from this Wim Hof character is a picture of him doing the splits on an ice cap, wearing nothing but swimming shorts and a bandana. I buy drugs off that guy. Sure, I'm not following the science from him. I'll take hallucinogens, not medicines, please, Wim. He's an identical twin, Wim Hof, at 62. Ugh, gross. Look, I know that must exist, logically. I just thought that sort of shit ended at 9. You know, get a grip. At least take off the matching dungarees, for fuck's sake. Have some self-respect. Hop out the bunk beds, lads. Christ. Scientifically proven benefits, man. That's what they say. Scientific. I've started asking what they are. There's 3 main ones, basically, of this Wim Hof method. The first one, my friends say, they say, you got to do it, man. You got to have an ice-cold shower in the morning, every morning, because it's invigorating. An ice-cold shower really wakes you up in the morning. Oh, yeah, of course it does. Of course it does. It's literally pouring a bucket of ice-cold water over yourself. That's how they wake up hostages. That is a cuckoo clock in Guantanamo Bay. I am a free man. I can wake up how I please. I'm sure I'd be more alert in the morning if I swapped my porridge for a bowl of broken glass. I'm not fucking doing it, even though it would be easier to wash up. Listen, you don't need an ice-cold shower in the morning to be more invigorated to be productive, do you? We all know the actual life hack for productivity, don't we? It's obvious. The secret to getting anything done is to just have something slightly more important you should have been doing. That's all it is. That's why your house is always tidy, is when you've got a big work deadline or something. You just need something slightly... Like the other day, I wrote loads of amazing jokes about allergic reactions, right? I should have been doing that. I should have been calling an ambulance. Something slightly more important is all you need. The second benefit, they say, scientifically proven, of course, the Wim Hof method. They go, you got to do it, man. You got to have that ice cold shower in the morning, every morning, because it's great for the skin, a cold shower. So good for the skin. I'm so sick of people telling me stuff's great for the skin. We are obsessed with our skin being the one that's healthy, because that's the one on display, while our livers and lungs look like shit. These people are friends of mine. They all drink. Half of them still smoke. They're having a cold shower every morning to slightly improve their skin. That's like having a completely blocked toilet, full to the brim with feces, and going, you know what that needs? A lick of paint. Ridiculous logic, your house is on fire, call the fire brigade, not the Queer Eye crew, for fuck's sake. This is no time to redecorate. The final benefit, it's my favourite one, it's my favourite benefit, they always say it. They go, above all else, Rhys, you've got to do it. You've got to have an ice cold shower in the morning, every morning, because it really reduces stress, a cold shower. Really reduces stress. Oh, does it? Does it really? Well, you know what I find stressful? Breathless goosebumps and a fully retracted penis, okay? Neither scream wellness retreat to me, actually. And then they go, well, billionaires do it. How can you argue that, Rhys, when billionaires do it? Don't you want to be like a billionaire? Because billionaires do the Wim Hof. I'm like, yeah, of course billionaires do it. Billionaires have done everything. Billionaires have got unlimited resources. They've had every experience possible in the human experience catalogue. So they're bored out of their fucking minds, a billion. Nothing feels like anything to a billionaire anymore. Heroin to a billionaire is like a Tang Fastic to us. It has no impact. They just go, oh, bit tart, and that's the only reaction. By the way, I'm so sick of people telling me the humble beginnings, rags to riches origin story of a billionaire who started their business out of a garage. Every single time it's like, did you know Jeff Bezos started Amazon out of his garage? Isn't that amazing? Steve Jobs started Apple out of a garage. Incredible. Right. How do I get a fucking garage? Sorry, I live in London. Are you insane? A garage is the end goal. And this is one without a car in it. So this is a spare garage. Are you fucking kidding me? It's not rags to riches if I find the rags aspirational. Tell me the story of a billionaire who started his business out of a kitchen that was also a bathroom. Then I'll relate to you. Listen, I'm not having a go at Wim Hof, okay? I know it sounds like I am from all the words I keep saying, but I'm not. I'm not. Wim Hof does have a method. He does. The Wim Hof method, famously. That's his one. Point is, he's actually doing it, Wim Hof, in real life, all right? This guy, he's all about endurance, Wim Hof. He's got the world record for the longest ever ice bath. He runs marathons barefoot in the snow. You having a cold shower in the morning so you're slightly bare at emails is not the same thing. You've not been through the same stuff. It's like saying you know how Nelson Mandela must have felt because you're also a Gemini. It's not the same. He'd have really struggled in captivity because we're extroverts. We like to mingle. We love a chat. But we love long walks, and that walk to freedom would have been right up his street. Oh my God.
I feel like this is a point in the show, you know, I'd quite like to talk about my dad, right, because he is a Glaswegian guy. He's a good lad as well, man. He's 74, right? And I say I'm working class, he's proper working class, you know, he came for nothing, worked in the shipyards, left school before he even sat an exam, right? He's a great, great guy, I love him, right? But because, you know, he's 74, Glaswegian, extremely working class, he's got some opinions. Not all of them are particularly fashionable right now. You know? But doesn't mean he's an evil guy, right? And no one in here better be judging him, because I tell you right now, I guarantee every single family, we've all got that person. Usually an uncle you tuck away at functions. You know? And that doesn't mean they're evil people. It doesn't mean they've got a bad heart or that, you know? It just means, generally, I didn't introduce them to my black mates. He's just from a very different generation, you know? Like, he looks at my generation as if we're fucking useless, you know? And I'll be honest, we haven't done much to disprove him. Especially, I really started noticing it during the pandemic, right? He was hitting me with all this stuff where he was like, come on, Connor, you're 28 now, right? What's your plan for getting on the property ladder? And I was like, plan? To be honest, Dad, I was kind of hoping you would die of COVID. I really had all my financial eggs in that basket. I thought it was a given, you know. Mid-70s, ex-chain smoker. I was like, this has got to eat easy. Every day I went round to visit him during the pandemic. I've never visited him every day in his life. Sometimes I'll go straight for an illegal rave right to his. Start licking door handles and that. Come on, let's free up some housing. Every time I went round, he looked better. I was like, what's happening, Benjamin Button? I love people in his generation, man. By way of making some noise, who in here is, let's say, over 50? A few of yous. Be proud. Right? Yous are class. Yous are the best generation, right? Because I'm 29 now. I'm a millennial. I tell you right now, I'd much rather go out for a drink with the over 50s than I would people my age. God, you go out for a drink with people my age, it brings you down. Like, all right, mate, how have you been? Long time no see. It's like, oh my God, I'm so glad you asked. I'm actually really struggling with my anxiety. Oh, for fuck's sake. Only came out for a pint. You didn't get any of that shite when you go out with the over 50s. None of yous are worried about your mental health. No, yous are worried about your health. I didn't care that I've been hiding depression from my own family for 30 years. It's just my knee. Never used to click like that. You hear that? Everyone over 50's got a dodgy knee. It's when they both go, that's sad, you know? Got to walk about like Elton John at Glastonbury. Tell you though, the generation that I feel like actually a bit sorry for because of the last few years and stuff is the generation after mine, right? They're called Gen Z. Do we have any Gen Zs in? Nice! With the confidence of someone who thought there was going to be way more. Can I ask how old you are?
21.
21, nice one. Did you mean to come to the gig or are you chasing a Pokemon on your phone? I think there's a wee Pikachu down the front here. You know, but even younger than that, you know, if you're like a teenager now, if you're like 17, 18 right now, how the hell are you supposed to be optimistic about the world? You know, you're looking at it and you're like, oh my God, the planet's dying. World War III's kicking off. The government's collapsing in front of us. What are we going to do? Let's just do a wee TikTok dance. Come on. Come on. Let's get this trending. Maybe the adults will see it. They'll know what to do. Hashtag twerk for Ukraine. That's the problem with Gen Z, though. The problem is, like, they didn't come to a problem with any, like, solutions or any actual answers. All they care about is raising awareness. We're making this TikTok to raise awareness because the planet is sad. Awareness means fuck all. Like, we know that. Like, we need a proper solution to the problem. Like, if I woke up tomorrow morning, right, and I couldn't get a hard on, for example. Just off the top of my head. I wouldn't go stand at a bus stop with my willy in my hand, like, sorry, lads, just trying to raise a wee bit of awareness here. Like, go to the doctor, you creep. I tried, I'm not allowed back there anymore. It's crazy, man. I feel genuinely sorry, though, man. If you're a teenager right now, you're fucked. Because any time a teenager does, like, speak up and they're like, I want to be the change in the world. You know, the rest of us have made it perfectly clear that we couldn't give a fuck. If you don't believe me, just look at how the world reacted to Greta Thunberg. Right? One day, this 15-year-old Swedish girl came on TV and she just went, maybe we shouldn't put the plastic bags on the dolphins' faces. age of 40 just went, will someone get this uppity little bitch an iPad? It's making me sick, actually. Listen, Greta, when I was 15, we'd have been out shagging dolphins, right? That was a proper childhood, right? You don't know you're born! It's a fucking mental way to react to someone that's trying to fix the planet. But the thing about that, look, when it comes to healing the planet and fixing the ozone layer and all that, of course I want to do that. Of course I do. You'd be mental if you didn't want to do that. You know, if I have kids, I want them to enjoy the earth the same way I got to enjoy it. Right? But I do think it's bullshit that it gets put on, you know, me and you, like normal people. I bet you're all nice, reasonable people. You're all at home doing your bit, you know, washing out your yogurt pots, running about with a wee bag for life, as if it makes any bit of difference. You know, meanwhile, China is on fire. Pisses me off, man. You know, we're doing all this stuff. Meanwhile, thousands of miles up there, right? You've got Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Richard Branson, literally racing each other to Mars. Right? In the world's biggest dick measuring contest. Burning thousands and thousands of gallons of jet fuel. Meanwhile, I'm down here on Earth in a 1 litre Ford Fiesta. Try to suck a McDonald's milkshake through a fucking paper straw. How the fuck is that fair? It's ridiculous. I'm sick of being told by billionaires that we need to reduce our single-use plastic. Oh. Tell me right now, what do you think is worse for the ocean? Me chucking away a straw, or them going down there on a single-use submarine? Too soon? And look, can we just agree as a society that the paper straw, not fit for purpose? We've not fixed that problem, we've just made a new problem. All right? It's ridiculous, especially against a powerful enemy like the McDonald's milkshake. I don't know what they're putting in that, but it's like liquid concrete. I nearly passed out in my car trying to drink one of them. Like, no, I can feel it, it's coming. No, put your windy up, my straw's getting soft. Just need more blood in my legs, I can do this.
And I have to say, and I don't really know how to reveal this, but I've got a few kids, they're all fucking boring. I know, none of them drink, none of them take drugs. Where have I gone wrong? And I think what's happened is they've rebelled. You know, kids rebel against their parents' culture. That's all right if your parents are conservative, straight and boring. They've rebelled against my having it large culture. Yeah. So you know at Christmas when you get a bit of cocaine in, right? Even if I haven't had any throughout the year, get a little bit at Christmas. It's like a family tradition now. Get a bit of bootros in, as we call it, bootros Garley Charlie. So at Christmas, my kids come round, they're all grown up, they bring their kids, I'm the granddad. I have to go into the bathroom of my own fucking house to do my Charlie in secret. But last year, even I thought I might be getting a bit too old for this shit. I looked down, I was actually chopping up my Charlie with my senior citizens rail card. I know. This is how boring my kids are. One of my daughters, she's fantastic. You know, I don't know, you have ideas, you have hopes and dreams for your kids, and they don't always see them through. I wanted her to be in a band, or be a sort of punk poet, or run a left-wing bookshop. She's in digital fucking marketing. But this is how boring she is. She phoned me up, this was during lockdown actually, so she was a bit younger. And she brought up the subject of drugs. And she went, Dad, I went, yeah. She went, you know cocaine? I went, of course I do, my darling. Why do you think you've always lived in rented accommodation? And she said, what's it like? Well, what do you mean? What's it like? She went, when you take it, how does it make you feel? I went, no, I know what what's it like means. What What I don't understand is why someone in their 20s is asking someone in their 60s what cocaine's like. I've got to tell you, my darling, you've turned out to be a real fucking disappointment. I still get, when I fly, which is rare these days, I still get the random search, right? Which is obviously drug related at my age. Now, for example, fairly recently I went to South Africa to do the Cape Town Comedy Festival. Very privileged, only white acts on. It was absolutely a brilliant experience. Although I have to say, a little bit tricky for me going to South Africa. And you can laugh at me rather than with me on this one, because I am still boycotting South African products because of apartheid. I bet there's people in there that don't even know what apartheid is. It was that long ago. And I think what it is I'm one of these people that hold on to my political grudges. I think a lot of old people do that. No matter how outdated or unfashionable they become, you're still there, that's who I am, that's what I believe in. And my kids laugh at me, and I get that. But I think what's happened is I've turned into a modern version of my granddad. And I'm sure some of you remember this generation of British boycotters. He refused to buy Japanese stuff because of what happened to our lads during the war. And we laughed at him. But he kept it up till the day he died, which was in the late 1970s, which meant he had fuck all in his house. No fridge, no radio, no television. I doubt he even had the means to know the war had ended, the silly old sod. Then here I am doing exactly the same thing. But you know, when you're white and English, how far back do you go with this stuff? What? Croissants after 1066? I'm not going to IKEA till the Vikings say they're fucking sorry. So I got the random search twice. That's not random, is it? You get it on the way there, you get it on the way back. That's not fucking random. And it's very difficult when you're older. You know, be prepared for this. People on authority, they're all younger than you. You can't even take them seriously. He's pulled me over. I have to go through the process. I've done it so many times. And he looked at me and he went, "Did you know, sir, that it's illegal to bring drugs and firearms into the country?" Who in here doesn't fucking know that, right? I thought, why is he speaking to me like I'm a bit of a fucking imbecile? So I went, fucking hell! It's illegal now, is it? This must be the Brexit thing kicking in. I think you should put a sign up for something as important as that. Now you fucked up all my gift ideas. Then he brought out the drug sniffer dog. Now, I've never been sniffed up by a drug sniffer dog in my life, given my previous lifestyle. Comes as a bit of surprise. So I thought, oh, this is going to be good. And immediately, I looked at the dog and I thought, wow, when I was younger, and maybe got up to a little bit of mischief, I always thought if ever I was going to get nicked by a dog, it'd be a German Shepherd. There's no shame in that, is there? Cocker fucking spaniel. How humiliating would that be to be nicked by your nan's dog, basically? But then I had a brainwave. I thought, hold on a minute. Drug sniffer dog, what a great pet that would make. You'd never lose your drugs ever again. Then you'd always know where to buy drugs. Just take your dog for a walk. Although on a sadder note, when they finish their careers and end up in Battersea Dogs Home, you think, well, the other dogs in there treat them like grasses and nonces in the nick, because they work for the old bill, don't they? Hey, the fucking Rottweilers want to see you later, mate, all right. I was just going to say my drug of choice has changed, but now it's a drug of necessity. Painkillers. I don't know if I'm the only one. Most people I know that are over 50, certainly over 60, are on painkillers now because they're suffering from what my doctor calls, and I've got to tell you, this pisses me off, wear and tear. Wear and tear. It's a bit generic, isn't it? I want something with a Latin name, don't you? I said, can we call it wearers tearers? It sounds more serious, isn't it? So I wake up in the morning with me wearers tearers, as I'm sure one or two of you do, and I found a cup of coffee, a couple of painkillers, just takes the edge off the day. But it's actually harder to get painkillers than cocaine. What kind of world are we living in? Cocaine, 30 minutes on the phone. Painkillers, they ask you lots of questions before they hand it over, don't they? You wouldn't get a cocaine dealer doing that, would you? Are you on any other medication? Hey? When they do that in chemists now, started going, of course I am. What do you think I am, a fucking lightweight? Do you operate heavy machinery? I went, do I sound like a northerner to you? Yeah, I'm in my lunch break, mate. I've got to get back on the spinning jenny in 5 minutes. I'm from London, we've got fucking computers now. Why are you asking me these questions? And they went, well, here's the thing, sir, after 3 days of taking these painkillers, you could become addicted. And I thought, who would look at my face and think, that bloke needs advice on drugs and firearms? I said, don't worry about me. I must have been part of every youth culture, every drug-related youth culture since the late 1960s. I must have sampled every drug we've all ever heard of. You tell him it's going to be now, then, at my age, after 3 days of taking Nurofen, that's going to be the thing, is it, that finally and eventually pushes me over the fucking edge, put me wife on the game to feed me habits, sell me blonde kids to Romanian gypsies, yeah. It was all going all right, so they brought that Nurofen Plus out. That's what fucked me right up.
My favorite action movies of the current day and age that we're in are the Fast and the Furious movies. Those are my favorite ones. Arguably, oh, sure. But even cheering, we know they're the dumbest ones out there. They're dumb, they know they're dumb, and we know they're dumb. And we're still like, give them to me. How dumb are the last one was called Fast X for Fast 10. There's 12 of them. They're like, it's Fast 10. Like, aren't there 12? They're like, shut up, dummy. I'm like, yeah, okay, fine, it's fine. They're the guys that die in one just show back up. They don't even say why. They're just like, hey. They're like, oh, I thought you. Yeah. Like, and then they're formulaic. They're elaborate, but they're truly formulaic. Like, right, I'm going to describe one of the Fast and Furii to you right now, and pretty sure that's how you pluralize it. So, and if you don't know the franchise, you will not know if I'm just making this up, just pulling it out of my ass. You will have no idea. And if you do know the franchise, you still will not be sure. Because they just blend into one long Camaro explosion. But say we'll choose anyone from like in the middle. So let's say like 3 to 8. Let's say anywhere in there. You never know what it's going to be. They've already done their first heist. They've established themselves. They've got their millions. You know, this rapscallion crew of Honda Civic jockeys. They've made a few bucks and now they're in different parts of the world, just enjoying their life. We really did it. Nothing can go wrong now. And that's when just a representative from the U.S. government comes in like, we need this crack team of DVD player thieves. When that was relevant, we're the USA, strongest military in the world. Never mind about the Navy SEALs, but we're the strongest military in the world. That's part of the training now. We let puppies lick their toes, and if they crack, they're out. But right now, outside of the best, strongest, big dick military in the world, none of them know how to drive manual. So we really need you guys. We need you, bunch of Corona-sipping degenerates, to help us out. What had happened? It's just a group of international terrorists. It's international now. They can't be from a country because that's problematic. But it's still terrorism, but it's very diverse. Who are these terrorists? I don't know. That guy's Cuban. I think he's gay. Whatever. They're all over the place. They're all over the place now. They've stolen the nuclear codes. It's always the codes. It's never the bots, the codes. Apparently somebody's just writing them down in a notebook and just leaving them in a backpack at Starbucks. They always get the codes. It's just somebody like, all right, I got my keys, I got my wallet, chapstick. Oh, my gin sport full of nuclear codes. I can't believe I left it on the bus. So, the terrorists have stolen nuclear codes. They've hidden them in a Lamborghini. That's right, hide something. They've hidden them in a Lamborghini. Tastefully colored. No, it's orange. Bright orange. Bright orange Lamborghini. And they've stashed it on top of the bad guy's skyscraper. That's where I'd put it. You can't put it in the garage, it'll get scratched. So there's a bright orange Lamborghini full of nuclear codes on top of a heavily protected skyscraper in a country that we will not name because this movie needs to make money everywhere. So, what did I tell you? You know, you gotta feel. So that's on you guys now to help us. Because our military can't do it. And they're like, all right, assemble. All right, who, well, let's first, who do we have in our team that might have like a connection? A guy who knows a guy who knows a guy who might have like just a special Lamborghini lifting helicopter. And then just out of the shadows comes former hip hop star Ludacris. Oh, sure. Of course. Can you imagine it being someone else? Other than Ludacris? I am convinced Ludacris does not know he's in these movies. I think Ludacris, he shows up wearing the clothes he was gonna wear anyway. And they just convince him to say a few key phrases. What? Lamborghini living in a helicopter. Got it, that's it. And they call him Ludacris half the time, I'm pretty sure. I don't know his character names like Dave or Lugnut, I don't know, but they're like, all right, so Luda, shit, oh, should we cut? Because I called them, like, nope, we already blew the budget on special effects. Just keep going. But somehow they get Ludacris to say, yeah, I got a guy. And they're like, all right, cool. And so that's it. We're like only 20 minutes in the movie, short and sweet. They cracked the case, you know. So special Lamborghini lifting helicopters coming over the horizon, you know, just approaching, and it's a unique looking helicopter. And bad guy skyscraper's over here, but it's a skyscraper. They got a vantage point with elevation. They're like, that looks like a particular kind of helicopter. Maybe one specifically designed for picking up Lamborghinis full of nuclear codes. And then the bad guys are like, well, should we double check? Like, where are the bad guys? And they just shoot it down. They just shoot it down right there. And you're 25 minutes into the movie, like, well, oh no, what are we gonna do? That was the plan. And so now we gotta go back to the clubhouse where everybody's hanging out. And we're like, all right, well, that plan, that was our one shot. So now we gotta go the real unorthodox, maybe something like with math and science and engineering. Do we have somebody in our group with like that kind of brain, that analytical thinking that could like figure out some way with engineering to get the car out there? Oh, yeah, former model Tyrese, of course. Of course, when I think of engineering mastermind, I think of Tyrese. Tyrese, I believe, is reading the script just below the camera at all times. Oh, what's up? You all need help getting a lamb giant? That says Lamgina, man. That's how it's spelled. Oh. Y'all need to get a Lamborghini off a building. And then they just cut to a whiteboard with a lot of shapes and numbers on it. And he just goes, there. You know, like they just had some intern run in, just make geometric shapes and put some math on there. And that's when Tyree's like, well, if you drive it fast enough off the edge of the building and you could just fly it away on account of a Lamborghini has the doors that do this. It's got doors like this. Well, if you get enough speed, it could actually travel non-traditionally. That sounds like Back to the Future. Shut up, man. And so, if you got enough speed, all right, so that's the plan. We'll fly the Lamborghini. To where? Okay, well, I guess we could just like get a short-term lease on a good guy skyscraper across the street. We'll just roll in with some cash, talk to the landlord. According to Tyrese's calculations, we really only need floors 8 through 13. We really only need those. Given the trajectory of his math, that's where the Lamborghini should crash into. So we'll get a short-term lease there. Absolutely, short-term lease. All right, but now we have to execute this plan. Who do we have amongst our crew that is brave enough, that is strong enough, that is bald and dumb enough we all know who it is. My man Vincent Diesel. That's who's coming in there. Vincent Diesel. My man Dominic Toretto. I just go by Vincent these days. He hears him talking about, he scoots out from underneath some hot rod that's blowing up in every movie. Every movie, that car just fucking explodes at the end, and the next one starts with him like, Apparently all you need is like a 5/8 wrench to be like, back in action. He scoots out with a totally clean tank top and just stands up like, I'll do it. He's only got 5 lines. And he rolls in there. He gets to bad guy skyscraper. He just starts at the bottom, just indiscriminately just kills, shoots this guy. Gets to 1 floor, like, where's the call center? What's happening? No witnesses. Shoots him. Gets him to what? We're just United Airlines customer service. What's going on? Double tap. I gotta fly them tomorrow. He just kills everybody in the skyscraper and gets up to the roof where the Lamborghini full of nuclear codes. He gets in. There's always a minute where he just like is horny for the car. Where he's like, you know. Why? He fires it up, backs up, shoots it towards the edge of the building. Boom, it goes. He pops the doors. That's it. They're the wings. It's flying. Of course it's flying. We've all agreed that this is real. I'm on my 3rd bag of popcorn just going, of course it worked. Tyrese knows math. I'm absolutely with him on this, 100%. But then there's one terrorist he didn't get yet. There's one guy, and he's just barely hanging on, but he's dedicated to being a terrorist. And he's like, he pulls his AK-47 over by him, and he says something hack, because they didn't pay the writers well enough. So this guy's just like, not on my watch, or some shit. Like something dumb. And he's got 1 bullet left, and he fires it off. But it doesn't hit Vincent, and it doesn't hit like the undercarriage. It just hits the window in the door, which that's where the lift exists for the Lamborghini to fly. Oh no, this whole plan unravels. Now Lamborghini's spiraling, and Vincent's like, what are we gonna do? And it's spiraling. It's not gonna go to the designated floors that they gotta rent on. It just smashes into the side, a good guy skyscraper. And Vincent thinks quick. He flips outside. He grabs a seatbelt. He's dangling off the side of the building. He's holding on like an office chair that's hooked on an I-beam that's hanging out of a under construction office. And he's holding on to the Lamborghini by the seatbelt, just like, he gotta do this. And he's looking at his crucifixes just dangling, shining in the sunlight, and he looks at that, and that's when he's like, oh yeah, family, and he just, which is such, that's weird that's what that reminds him of, because the guy in that crucifix, his dad killed him. That's a weird thing to go with. But that's where he gets his strength, family, and he flings the Lamborghini over his head into the office up there, and he drags himself up, but he's just got glass coming out of his bald head, and he's bleeding. He drags himself in there, and the rest of the crew, they all rush up to make sure he's okay, and they're like, oh my God, I can't believe that was so close. And the main, like the starlet, his wife, I don't even know, she shows up for the first 5 minutes in the movie and disappears, but then she's there at the end, like she was part of this crew the whole time, and she's like, oh, I can't believe, I'm so glad you're safe. Don't you do that ever again. But then she's like, but also the way you saved the world has got me all, every time you just assert yourself this way, we should fuck. And he's just laying there bleeding like, all right. And that's the part of the movie where I'm like, I was with you the whole time. I was with you from Ludacris just being called Ludacris, from Tyrese knowing science. I was on board with everything. Flying Lamborghini, instantly, of course. But there's no way he's fucking rocking up for this. And that, not then, no. know. I just want one action movie where that's the moment where it really hits the realism, where it's just like everything happened, there's explosions, death, blood, and I just want the main guy to just be like, what? Are you fucking around? Did you not see what I just... Can I get like 20 minutes? Jesus Christ. I see. This is what horned you up? What's wrong? I just killed all those guys. And that, not to mention, I ran up the whole building, but those guys had families. I'm sad about that. You don't really... And also, I've been at my target heart rate all day with this plan. I think this is rebar that went through a kidney. My blood pressure's plummeting, but I mean, if you need it, we can give it a shot, but it won't be good. I hope you're into people watching, because we're gonna have to do it in the ambulance, because I am fighting off the tunnel vision right now of a blackout, and I need fluids, not sexy fluids, vital fluids. I need fluids and monitoring, and I will be passing out throughout the whole thing. But if you want to give it a shot with the EMTs looking over us, I could try and thumb it in for as long as I'm conscious. I mean, that's the best I can promise you is every 30 seconds I'm just going to be slapping my dick against my hand like a TV remote with a dead battery. So, I mean, we can try, but I'd love 6 to 8 weeks for a full recovery, just to be honest with you there. So that's... Just give me an ounce of reality, Fast and Furious.
You know, actually, it was my uncle that got me into comedy inadvertently. I've got this uncle. He's an amateur magician. And by that I mean he really wants to be a magician, but he's just fucking amateur! Just fucking awful! And he always does these Christmas shows for us. He does Christmas magic shows every Christmas. And when I say that, you're probably picturing like card tricks and rabbits out of hats. None of that. He's like an amateur escapologist, daredevil, illusionist kind of magician, just doing dangerous, dangerous shit with no training and not a lot going on upstairs. One of my earliest childhood memories, right, he got up on top of the pergola, right, in a straitjacket, and he's going to jump off the pergola into the swimming pool and not surface until he got out of the straitjacket. None of us told him not to do it. So he's up there on the pergola, wrapped in his straitjacket, and he does this thing before he does any trick. He goes, 3, 2, 1, ready! It's like his little catchphrase. So he's up there and he goes, 3, 2, 1, ready! He takes a step back to run up into the pool and just went, wah! Straight through the pergola, impaled his shoulder on a star picket, tore all the ligaments in his ankle, and when he landed, he made such a loud noise it frightened the dog, and the dog bit him on the face. So Christmas was always awesome. And that year, he wouldn't let us take him to the hospital. He's like, I'll be fine. He just pulled himself off the star picket, cracked a stubby and went back to the barbecue, you know what I mean? But as a result, he fucked his shoulder so bad, he fucked all the nerves in his arm, and he's got no feeling in his left hand. He can still pick stuff up, but he can't feel things, and he always says horrible, horrible shit like, yeah, Randy, I don't even need the missus anymore. I just close my eyes and think of Mariah Carey. Yeah, the man's a fucking unit. So, this one Christmas, this is how I got into comedy, this one Christmas, someone from his local RSL club had given him a little Pee-wee 100 motorbike, like a little children's motorbike. I'm not sure why, maybe they wanted him dead. But anyway, he turned up to Christmas. Right, with this little Pee-wee 100 motorbike, and he built a ramp in his ute. He built a ramp that folded out of the tray of his ute and then up over the cab of his little truck. And he had this idea that he was going to drive his little ute around to school fetes and county fairs and stuff and do jumps on his little motorbike in his ute ramp. Again, none of us told him not to do it. So he turned up with this thing and he set it up across the road, and we were having Christmas at my family's house in the country in central Victoria. There's heaps of paddocks around. We're in the middle of nowhere, so he loves having Christmas there because he can do dangerous shit in the paddocks, right? And really spread out. So he built the obstacle course, and he's across the road all morning setting this up. And we're in the house and we hear 3, 2, 1, ready! So we go across the road and there he is. Picture this, he's a massive dude, huge guy, strawberry blonde mullet, big blonde handlebar mustache with a nicotine stain in the middle, like he's been eating an ass, and he just sits there, right? He's huge on this tiny motorbike. He's like, here we go! And he took off and he was like weaving through the cones, popping little monos. He did about 25 minutes as a warm-up. We were like, actually, this is pretty entertaining. And he gets to the end of his warm-up, he parks the bike about maybe 20 metres from where he's going to start his run up to his big jump, and he added a little bit of showbiz flair here. I'll never forget it. He got off the bike and he pretended that the motorbike was too heavy for him to push. Massive dude, tiny motorbike. He just goes, oh, it's too heavy, kids, I can't push it. We're like, yay! 5 stars! You're a comedic genius. He's like, and then he just went, oh, bugger it! Picked the motorbike up, put it under his arm, and marched back to the start line. Like a fucking legend. So he gets to the start line, he goes to put the motorbike down, but he can't. Because when he picked it up, he inadvertently put his left hand on the exhaust pipe. He's got no feeling in his left hand. The exhaust pipe's very hot. By the time he made it back to the start line, his left hand had fused to the exhaust pipe, melted to the motorbike. He's like, oh, I can't put it down. We're all like, the smell of burning flesh. All the adults are pouring beer on it. He's like, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt. We're like, but it's fucked! That year, he let us take him to the hospital. You have a motorbike attached to your hand, get in the fucking car. But because we were having Christmas at my house in the country, everybody was shit-faced because everybody was staying over. Everyone was camping, so nobody could drive him. Except for me, I'd been on my learner's permit for 1 week. 2-hour drive to the hospital. I'm just like white-knuckling it the whole way. My dad, shit-faced in the passenger seat, just supervising me. Hey, he's doing a great job. My uncle on the back seat, motorbike on his lap. His left hand fused to the exhaust pipe and then just sculling a long neck with his right hand. And that is not what got me into comedy, but that is definitely what got me into drinking. I'm like, that is tough as fuck. Yes! So it's Christmas night in Emergency. So there's chaos. There's people impaled on Christmas trees and kids that have eaten Christmas baubles and shit. And so it's crazy, but he walks through the doors carrying a motorbike and the entire room went silent. I've never seen anything like it. All these people just went... He marches up to the counter, slams the motorbike down in front of the triage nurse and just goes, I've done a mischief! They took him into surgery. He was in there for 6 hours. I had to sit in the waiting room and wait for him the whole time. And while I was there was an episode of Seinfeld on the television. I was like, I want to do that. And here I am.